I want to continue along today in Exodus chapter 23 and look at several verses here. And it deals with Israel's obedience and the blessings that come from that. It says in verse 22, and remember the angels going before them, they're headed to this promised land. It says, but if you truly obey His voice and do all that I say, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. This is a little bit reminiscent of the Abrahamic covenant, right? Right now we're dealing with the Mosaic covenant. So you had the covenant between Abraham and God that's found in the book of Genesis. Now here in Exodus, you have the Mosaic covenant, which was between God and the nation of Israel, right? Because to start with, there was just Abraham. Now, as God had promised, you will be a great nation, right? So they have, his descendants have multiplied. They are numerous now. It's hundreds and hundreds of years later, and there's all these people. So when we look at this, there's similarities in that I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. That rings back to Abraham in the way that I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. So there's an overflow here from that same idea under the Mosaic covenant. In verse 23 it says, for my angel, this is the angel mentioned previously, will go before you and bring you into the land of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will completely destroy them. You shall not worship their gods, nor serve them, nor do according to their deeds, but you shall utterly overthrow them and break their sacred pillars in pieces. So this is talking about their worship, their pagan gods. You're going to break all this down. But you shall serve the Lord your God, there in verse 25. And He will bless your bread and your water, and I will remove sicknesses from your midst. There shall be no one miscarrying or barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days. So when you look at this, it goes back to, but if you truly obey His voice and do all that I say, right? We go back to if-then. The Old Testament is loaded with if-then statements. If you do this, then I will do this. If Israel was obedient, God would bless. If David was obedient, God blessed. Now, this is under the Old Covenant, right? So under the New Covenant, we operate on a little bit different principle. There are consequences to your sins. You deal with those consequences. They're inevitable. To reject Jesus Christ, the consequence of that is eternal separation from God in hell. That is simply what the Bible shows and teaches. You know, do I wish there was a different answer to that? Actually, I do, but there's not, because God is righteous and holy, and He has made a way for us to find Him. He has made a way for us to be forgiven. So that's reality. But God corrects us in our disobedience, but we are brought into His family, and we are saved because of our faith in Jesus, not because of our obedience, right? Each one of us has great worth in the eyes of God because of the fact we are made in His image, and He died for us. He loved us enough that He died for us. So we have incredible worth to God, but He still calls us to obedience. So there's a balance of the two things under the New Covenant. I am saved by grace through faith, but I'm still called to strive to live a holy life, but I am not in eternity judged on my ability to fulfill all these things. At the end of the day, I'm judged on what I've done with Christ and what Christ has done in me. So they were dealing with very obedience-based blessing. We still deal with that in some fashion, but at the end of the day, our salvation is secured by Jesus Christ. We'll talk to you later.